And obviously, if could have told you the market was going to pop back up there this quickly, I would have told you about it. But who knew? But we did have opportunities there to exit those trades, like we talked about. It continues to slowly uptick, coming up here to the 01 area now. I mean, there's no reason to love any of these trades, and obviously, if you're making money on them and you can squeeze them a little bit, take more out of the trade, that's one thing. But if the market's going against us, we have to make sure we use our stops, put them in place, and then that way we don't get caught up in any one of these rallies that don't really give us too much of an opportunity here. And the best opportunity we have is scratch it or take a little bit of a loss. So, and that is what is going on right now. As we quickly come up here to our 01 area, I'll stop there at even. Again, if you did scale in there at even, you are getting a little bit of a rotation here off of that opportunity. If anybody has any questions, feel free to ask in the chat. We are trading mini S&Ps, looking for opportunities to scalp the market based on the levels we gave out in addition to price action opportunities. The market is here absorbing this opening, and obviously you can see kind of a busting up here to the upside. Again, if you did get in there at even, then it's somewhat okay. Get a little bit of rotation here on the lower end of our scale. All right, nice rotation here against the 01 area. All right, if you did get in against the 01 area here, you did fine with that. They even got a little bit on the upside there. Got up to 175, so maybe you scaled in a little bit higher than that, depending on what your scale differential is. But either way, if you did put the 01 in there, you get a nice rotation here. So, like I said, this kind of rotation off of a level is what we're kind of looking for. When we kind of rotated to other levels, we kind of hung there for a minute, gave you a chance. Like I said, you didn't like the price action. You obviously had a reason to get out. And especially in that first bar after a long weekend, getting a nice rotation here against this 01. And this is where you can squeeze them a little bit here on the winners and see if you can't take a little bit more than your 3 points or so on these rotations on this trade right in here. If you have multiple contracts, of course. Nice rotation against the 01 level. We repeat the levels again in the chat. There are the levels in the chat. The pivot there is 43.78. All right, again, if you have any contracts, leftover contracts, and you're trying to squeeze them, obviously you have a trailing stop, and maybe you're out of it by now. And now we're just kind of hanging up here, kind of flat now. See what it wants to do next level on the upside. Way I was up at 09. Right now we've got support down at the our pivot there. Really, not much else. Maybe a little bit at around 80, but our pivot there is 78. So kind of see what it wants to do. They definitely were caught some shorts here. Maybe they were happy that we opened up lower. Maybe it's a little short cover rally. See here, there's any other. We have a 9 o'clock number. The National Association of Home Builders is coming out with their index, market index, housing index, I should say. And that's coming out here in about 16 minutes. And then there's a Fed speak all the way at 3 o'clock, right when the market closes. Bullard is talking, so he's been a market mover recently. So we'll see what happens with him. As the market here continues to stay strong, next level of resistance we have is up at the 09 area. The Goldman Sachs economic team says there is a 35% chance of a U.S. recession over the next 2 years, with the labor market a particular problem for the Federal Reserve. The large gap between jobs and workers, which keeps wages growth elevated, has historically only declined during periods of economic contraction, chief economist said. The team wrote in its notes out on Sunday, prediction for a recession has been growing as the Fed tries to negotiate a soft landing for the economy at a time when inflation is at levels not seen in 4 decades. And Deutsche Bank is the first big Wall Street bank to forecast a recession, saying in the first week of April, a recession in late 2023 is now their base case. Taken on face, these historical patterns suggest the Fed faces a hard path to soft landing. That's what they said. Wells Fargo strategist in a note last week that despite calls for a recession from anyone with a megaphone, we do not expect one in the next 12 months. Rather, stagflation, which means high inflation and slower growth, likely will prevail. It's nice to see all these bank people giving us their opinion. Citi Credit Suisse is not underweight equities. Equities are fairly valued, not overvalued, with equities being an inflation hedge. Compared to bonds, monetary conditions are very loose. We only tend to get recessions 9 months after a 3-month money inversion relative to 10-year. Well, right now, so I don't know what they're talking about. All right, market is just kind of hanging up here at these highs that they've created. Next level of resistance we have up at 09. Like I said, support right now would be about the 80, 78 to 80 area. That could change. The Fed's hawkish signaling with a 50 basis point hike expected over the next few meetings has sent Treasury yields sharply higher. The inversion in the 2 to 10 yield curves is also pointed out the signal of an oncoming recession, but the inversion was short-lived and the curve started steepening again. Yields are up again with the 2s and 10s are steepening again this morning. The 10s yields are up 6 basis points to 287 and the 2s are 5 basis points to 249. Which the Fed also wants to see rise as climbing as well, with the 10-year inflation product projected yield about 10 basis points away from positive territory. So the Fed controls go up as fast, and you have a steepening of the yield curve. Well, it's steepening right now, but inversion of the yield curve, which is not good because that yields to recession. So the bond market is kind of going to dictate basically if we have a recession or not. And like they said, the inversion yield did invert for just a little bit a week ago or 2 weeks ago maybe, and then now it's kind of steepening again. So that's, I guess, a good sign. 287 to 249. I think the 30-year bond was definitely in around the 250 area when that was happening, with the 10s being in the 250 area as well. That was about a couple weeks ago. The long Treasury note 10-year yield minus the 3-month bill yield has inverted every recession since the mid-1950s. That spread is now around 200 basis points. Still, traders are see a little respite from the bond sell-off in the near term. We're coming out of one of the worst quarters in history, and a big bear market in bonds continue. That's true. It is at a 140 handle today. Sniffing the 140. It is the 140 handle. So bond market definitely bearish there. We're just kind of hanging up here, kind of flagging formation here a little bit, maybe looking for the next push up. Do have a number coming out here in about 9 minutes, 10 minutes. We'll see what if that becomes a little bit of a market mover for us or not. All right. All right, now we're just kind of hanging. Again, they took the volatility or the little action that we had this morning on this little quick rotation to the upside, and then just kind of just hanging now. Up here, see where it wants to go next. Next level of resistance we have is up at the 09 area, and really around support would be around 80. We do have a number coming out here at in about 7 minutes. All right, market coming down here a little bit. Support level down at the 80 to 78 area. And market rotating down here. The World Bank just lowered the world growth from 4.1 down to 6 point. No, from 4.1 down to 3.5. So, but that was kind of expected. I don't know what's gonna. Is that a reason we're kind of breaking down here? It just came out a few minutes ago. It was down to 3.2, down from 4.1. So let's see if that's probably gonna go a lot lower than that, but that's another story. All right, market coming down here, a little support around the 80 to 78 area. we do have a number coming out here in about 2 minutes. So we don't like to trade when numbers are released. So consequently, we like to kind of be flat. And if we are close to a level or close to a trade or close to a setup, and you have to consider maybe not getting involved until the market until that number is released and the information is disseminated in the market, and whatever reaction the market has kind of reacts to it, and we can always trade it afterwards. I've always seemed to, every time I've had a position on when a number was released, it always went my wrong way. So trying to save that opportunity for you so you don't have that same feeling I did. It was, what did I do that for? So we shall try to stay flat when these numbers are released. Flat meaning not having a position one way or the other. And let it come out again, even though we're close to a, if you're close to a setup or something like that, just kind of let the number come out, do its thing. And again, that's if you are risk averse. And obviously, if there's some traders out there who are like want to take more risk, you can trade those numbers. Some people, some traders out there love trading numbers. It's their thing. Not a mine. All right, this number is released now. Again, I don't know if it's going to create any volatility or not. We just don't like to have any kind of position on when it's released. So let's see what it wants to do now. Still have support down at, again, if you're a little, whoa, as you can see here, again, some reaction, got a little support down here at 78 to 80. Okay, nice quick rotation there. Got it right down to 79 and popped it right back up here to 82. If you did have your order in there at 80, you got a nice quick rotation off of it. All right, getting us our couple points here. We talked about the support level between 78 and 80. You got right down to 79, and then quick rotation here. You obviously had to have your order in place there to be able to get filled. If you did scale in, then you got a quick 2-point rotation, a little bit more than that. And see what you want to do with it. If you want to, again, have a trailing stop, or if you want to try to squeeze it for a little bit more, we'll take a nice little rotation here against a little support area there. We said 79, 78 to 80, and it got right down to 79. Again, you have to scale in, right? Okay, we can't be perfect. So had a little area there, and market went down to it, and nice quick rotation here off of it. Nice pop back up here. So if you did, again, you have to be patient. When we were up there, kind of hanging there, up at even area, I said we got support down there at 78 to 80, and you just had to kind of just wait for it. And really did nothing for the last 20 minutes or so until waiting. And the number actually gave us the impetus to trade the it was trading up at 84, so it wasn't like it was around it. But the market number came out and created that opportunity for us. And again, you had to have your orders probably in place. If you tried to jump in there after the market got down there, probably missed it. All right, nice little pop there against our little support area. There's also our blue band for you blue banders. So again, even though we kind of got rocked around there really quick with our first couple levels, or the next couple trades there worked out very nicely for us. Yeah, I bet you like that one. Maybe even Don was happy on that one. You never know. Don might start trading the blue band once in a while. Again, we like to average about 4 or 5 trades during the course of a day, and we focus more on the morning hours for our opportunities. That we feel that there's good dynamics in the trade in the morning versus the afternoon. Quick pop back up here. So you can see the number created the opportunity. And I always keep saying, sometimes if you want the number to go up, you have to make it go down first. And it just flushed it down there right to our support level and then popped it back up. And now we're just kind of flat here. Again, if you have still trying to stay long, have a trailing stop. And you have a nice opportunity there to take a little bit more than 2 or 3 points on the trade. And just like it was up on top as well against the 01 area, you had definitely a chance there to take a little bit more than 2 or 3 points on that trade as well. Anyway, we always talk about the first bar being a little bit more volatile. There's definitely a risk reward situation there. You get the volatility. You're also going to have the opportunity, and it's going to be quick. But in this case today, you know, that first 5-minute bar kind of ran through a couple levels really quickly. So you have to watch the price action. You have to understand that it was that first bar, and that you are, you know, if you don't get the reaction you're looking for right away, maybe think about scratching it or take a little bit of a loss, because that's the first bar, and that's what's probably going to happen. Especially after a long weekend. But what do I know? Again, if anybody has any questions, feel free to ask in the chat. We don't mind questions. If you look at the chat, we'll see the levels. You saw that a lot of the levels are imprinted there for you. Again, those are levels we use to guide us along the way. We can add to them, subtract from them. We can tweak them a little bit. We also have price action opportunities where we suggested that the support level would be around the 78 to 80 area. And that was definitely a price level opportunity there. And now we're just right in the middle of that range, so kind of a little bit quiet. think that Don could probably agree with you on that. No, we know. He's just saying that those were good years. Of course. I mean, we did get to 79, and you know, I mean, it's good as close to 78 as you're going to get until you go through it, I think. But okay. All right, we tweak down to the blue band again and rotate it back up here. If you're a blue bander, again, how many times you take it is definitely up to you and how you manage your risk and how many times you want to take a trade. Those are all dependent on your risk tolerance. Not everybody here trades the same, so consequently, there are some who would have retaken the opportunity and some not. It seems like we've gotten into a little bit of a range here, a big range as it is. Next support level on the downside we have is down at this 69 area. Obviously, if we get through 78, I think we'll push this down to the 69 area. That will be our next level of support. I seem to have gotten into a little bit of a range here. Patience is important, waiting for the market to kind of do its thing and give us an opportunity to trade is important, waiting for those areas of focus for us to give us those opportunities. It's very hard to try to figure out what the market is doing when it just bounces around back here, kind of goes nowhere fast. Even though you're looking at the numbers on the screen, they're moving around, but still you would be guessing as to which way this market's going to go. So we try to find good opportunities, good inflection points that we believe will give us the opportunity to get in, trade, and those are dependent on being patient and waiting for those areas to get triggered. Again, waiting for those opportunities, let the market kind of develop, and picking your spots is very important to being profitable here instead of just trading because you see the market's kind of flickering back and forth here. It's very hard to try to jump in. You have to have good reasons to trade. Most of our focus in on our education course is to show you what those reasons are and to find good setups based on the technicals. And those technicals give you reasons to enter those trades. So that's what we do here. In addition to this trading room that we have our education course that helps you find those opportunities, understand why they're there, how they get set up to enter those trades, where you would enter them, how you would enter them is all dependent on your risk tolerance, and everybody here has different risk tolerances. And those are the things that you have to be patient for and wait for opportunities there that the market will give you chances. This little area right now where it's bounced off of that support and come back into the range. Right now at this point it's very, very kind of quiet, and kind of be a little bit patient now. Not anymore. All right, market kind of maybe pushing up here, back up here to the top. We got resistance. Next resistance area is up at 09. And they're kind of just bouncing around here a little bit. And we did have that support level down at the 80 area. If you were a little aggressive. All right, again, stuck in a little bit of a range. Gotta try to see if we can bust out of it. It might be a big range, even to 80, but it is what it is. Next level resistance we have is up at 09. Get back here in just a little bit. Let's take this phone call. All right, let's see, they kind of just pushed up to make some new highs there and come off back a little bit. Yes, European markets are still closed. They're still celebrating the Easter holiday. So they pushed it up here, kind of just made a new high thereby. Got up to 375, came back down. And the next level of resistance we have is up 109. Let me add a couple levels on the upside here. Above we got 09, then 21. And above that, we've got 30 and 40. Above the 09, above the 21, we got 30 and then 40 on the upside. And there you are. If you look at the chat, you'll see the new levels that we have there for you. Again, those were put out beginning of the day. All right, so we came out with this number. This number is out. All right, again, we're back in this range. You definitely have to have some patience here and wait for opportunities to trade. Very important to do that. It is. That's what we have to wait till our opportunities present themselves. Again, there's other price action opportunities. It all depends on how aggressive you want it to be or are. And those are there for you for the taking. And we show those in our education course that we have, in addition to our room that we have here. So we have both the education course and our room to give us our to show you different products here that we have to offer. All right, we are just again very very quiet in this little range. Patience is important. I know that some people want to trade, but you have to be patient and wait for the opportunity. The trade today is just quiet, and but we've had we had a big move in the morning. Then we got a nice rotation against one of our levels. Had to get out of a couple of them. Could have scratched some. Could have minimized your loss on some other ones. And then we waited for a little buying opportunity on that little dip. Um, and then now we're just coming back up here, kind of hanging up here. Next level of resistance we have is up at the '09 area. Again, if you're aggressive and you wanted to buy, maybe around the 90 area, but I would say anything below 85, you want to be out of any longs. Again, we like to look for about 4 or 5 trades a day. Obviously, we have to be patient and wait for them. And the market only gives us those opportunities when they present themselves, and we have to be ready for that. Like orders, we got resistance around the '09, and right now I got support around 90. But again, if we get below 95, we kind of you want to be out of any longs on a downside. And in the middle here, we just have to just be a little bit patient and wait for things to give us the market give us an opportunity. And we're on the highs here. Again, it's looking for '09 as our next level of resistance. Patience is important. Can't reiterate that enough. All right, we are just stuck here in a little bit of a range. Again, maybe kind of flagging a little bit. We'll see what it wants to do. If anybody has any questions, please feel free to ask. It's a good time. Things are slow. You have to have time to ask questions as to what we do here and what we have to offer. Gladly I'll answer any questions that you have. As you can see, we have to, and we wait for our opportunities, take advantage of them, pick our spots, and if those spots don't get triggered, that's all right. We wait, and if we don't get them today, we'll get some opportunities tomorrow. The one thing about trading is you're always going to have opportunities to trade. You just have to be patient and wait for them. And if it's not today, it'll be tomorrow, and then we might get too many tomorrow. And kind of like I said, we like to average about 4 or 5 trades a day. Today we've easily had like 4, depending on how aggressive you are, maybe even 5 or 6. All right, we're just a little range bound here. Again, if you have any questions, good time to ask. We like to wait for our opportunities. If you saw our chat box, you saw the uh, levels that we gave out this morning. And those will be used as a guide to the day. There they are for you. And we cannot create volatility. All we can do is trade it. Sometimes there's lack of volatility, and that's okay. It seems like we're a little range bound here. We got 90, low support, 88 to 90 area, and anything below 90, 85, you want to be out of any longs. And we'll see what happens from there. On the upside, we got resistance up there, as you can see there at 09. And kind of in the middle here, patience is important. You'd be guessing as to which way this thing is going to go, one way or the other. All right. Again, we talked about the importance of being patient and waiting for opportunities. Market went right down to the area there and rotating back up here. We talked about having a little support down there. Again, you have to probably have your orders in place if you kind of hesitate, or you're going to find your spots and just put your orders in place, and that way you get filled and see what happens with the trade after that. All right. So nice rotate again. It's a matter of, again, we had to be patient and wait. And if you were patient, waited for the opportunity there, it became a nice trade for us. And a nice rotation off of that level. Again, it's just a matter of being patient and waiting for areas that we feel are important. And we try to kind of show you where those areas are in our education course that we have. Any of this smart stuff interests you, let us know. The objective of our education course is for you to be able to find these areas and opportunities on your own, understand why they're there, and then try to take advantage of them when they present themselves. You have to be a little bit patient there. We talked about not having too many other trades in the middle there. Just never know which way the markets are going to go, but at least we found a little level of support that we feel the market works for us, and then was able to capitalize on it. So anything below 85 now, you don't want to be long. And the upside resistance is up at 09. If we get below 85, we might go retest it 78 and then eventually maybe 69. All right. I'll get back here in a bit.
A couple quick programming notes. Wanted to welcome everybody to today's session. Right now it's 11:21 a.m. on April 18th, 2022. Everything we do is for educational purposes only. Nothing's to be taken as direct trading or investment advice. I did send out an opportunity to sign up for this service. I'll send it out again. Make sure you review your status. Make sure you're signed up properly. This is a guest to subscription service. That's out to everybody now. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask. Hey, Dean. Hey, Denny, any questions? Henry, any questions? Jake? James M? Marie R? Hey, Zerhol, how are you? Use the chat feature to respond. Wanted to thank everybody for providing such a great trading day. This is called Trade Along. The service is Trade Along Live with Saul. It's an educational-only service. Starts out with giving out a roadmap for the morning session, pivot and other levels on top and bottom of that pivot, then looking to act based on entries, exits, and stops in and around those levels if appropriate. We call them levels and zones for a reason. There's also a component here where you, as an individual, a select group of traders, have the opportunity to work with Saul on a private level. He takes you into private classes, teaches you his methodology, and trains you based on your entries, exits, and stops of Saul's price action methodology. So give me a quick shout out. Let me know if you have any questions. Coming in is tradealonglive.com, tradealonglive.com. If you want to check out the website, it's tradealongtradingacademy.com, tradealongtradingacademy.com. If you like what we're doing, tell your friends, have them stop in and sign up for this Zoom webinar, this Trade Along Live session at tradealonglive.com, tradealonglive.com.